Hello everyone, it's Wendy Castellino here, CBT therapist, EMDR therapist, compassion focused therapist and mindfulness practitioner. And today I want to talk about one of my favourite skills from therapy. And it comes from EMDR, but it's also used in compassion focused therapy as well. So they both sort of developed this idea. So I don't know who came first, and I'm not really bothered who came first. What I want to do is to tell you about a technique that I think is so useful and so helpful to so many people. So I hope you like it. So the technique is called how to create a nurturing figure. Okay, what do we mean by the word nurturing figure? So really it's somebody who you feel is on your side, somebody that you feel is warm, encouraging, supportive, maybe gives you good advice as well. And their body and their facial expressions are also really lovely. They're warm, they're smiling, whatever it is that you want. And what is a problem sometimes, the people who come to see me, there's not that many people they find are that nurturing. So we have to find somebody who is nurturing. And there's many ways of doing this as well. So one idea is to find somebody in your life. It doesn't matter whether they're an old friend or somebody that you don't even know very well. It could be an old teacher, something like that. And the idea is that you remember that person. So you visualize them. That's step number one. But you also go into detail. You also think about what are their facial expressions like. Are they smiley? So when you imagine them, you imagine the detail as well. How would they be supporting you? Would they have their arms open? Would they be giving you a warm hug? Would they be kind of encouraging you like this, saying, well done, you've done really well? Okay, what kind of words would they use? Would they be as I said before, they would be warm, encouraging, or maybe they're very wise and give you lots of really good advice? So if it was me, I would do X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you can use a real person, and that's what you would do really. And you visualize them, and you build that visualizing up to it's quite strong, and you use it again and again and again. So it actually becomes like an internal friend and someone you can go to in any kind. Imagine them talking to you and giving you some really good, supportive, encouraging, or wisdom or advice. So that's one way of doing it. But also, sometimes people don't even have a friend or a mentor they can think of who's been particularly good. So the other way of doing it is using one of your imagination. And the great thing about imagination is you can go anywhere with it at all. So you can imagine sometimes like a wise old man or wise old woman who's just sort of full of wisdom and sort of knows the answers to everything. It could even be a sea creature. It could be a mermaid, for instance. It could be an animal as well. Sometimes animals are really good to use. If you're very close to an animal, say a dog, are very good and then if it's your dog, you imagine your dog. It has to be somebody who you feel is a good nurture as well. You've got to choose somebody. If your dog's a bit grumpy, then that's probably not such a good idea. But if your dog is really warm, friendly, and he's got those sort of like lovely eyes that look at you and look at you with adoring love and loves to be with you, or sort of gives you kisses or whatever, that's a really lovely feeling that you can actually create inside you as well. So you might imagine your dog. Or you can imagine a character from a film. So you could have Batman or Superman or your fairy godmother. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as you make it relatable and real to you as well. So you can create your own figure as well. You can create your own superhero. It doesn't even have to be anybody from the movies. You can have your own. You could have your own. Say your name is Jane. You could have a Super Jane. And you can imagine yourself being your best self as well, and what that looks like, and almost like a part of you which is sort of like a very warm, very encouraging, or very wise person as well. So the first step is then decide whether you want to use a real person or not. Okay, and sometimes it's good to, sometimes if you choose a friend, say for example, the friend might not always say the right things or be that brilliant, because we're all human as well. So it's a good idea, if you use a real person like a friend, to imagine them at their best as well. Imagine a time when they were really warm and loving to you, and just really focus on that image as well. Okay, so if you choose your partner and they're a bit grumpy in the morning, it's probably not the best person to choose. You just have to think of somebody perhaps a little bit more detached and imagine them at their best. So how this works is say you have a situation perhaps that you're struggling with. Maybe you're having some sort of dilemma. Maybe you don't know whether to stay in your job or change your job, or maybe somebody has been bullying you at work or something like that. It could be anything that you're struggling with. So what you do, first of all, you create this nurturing figure, this person who's warm and always on your side. Okay, and then you just sort of go to them and you ask them questions, sort of say to them, well, what would you say to what kind words would you say to me in this situation? That's a good question to. What kind words would you say, or words of encouragement would you say in this situation? And also imagine what they would say back, and ideally in a nice warm tone voice as well. What would they say back to you? It's amazing how it can work, and how you can imagine this person saying these things to you. Or sometimes it's more like a feeling as well. Like you say, it's more of having a warm teddy bear, almost like, cuddling you as well and saying it's okay. Sort of bit of reassurance as well. So practice that and see how you get on. And you can always contact me and say how you're doing and any more questions you have as well. And there are other ways of creating more figures in your life as well. I've just focused on the nurturing figures, but you can create any kind of figures. So you can have one person who's warm and encouraging. You can have another person sort of wise as well. And you can also have a part of yourself. So you can also have, some people prefer to use themselves and almost have an inner wisdom, an inner wise person, which is kind of like where they go to, where they sort of imagine themselves as being the wise person. So it's like part of them as well. That might be a bit more difficult to do. Sometimes it's just easier to imagine somebody like a friend who's on your side and is like warm and encouraging as well. So maybe start simple and work it up. So I hope you find that useful. It is such an amazing technique, and if you can understand it and get it to work, you can use it in all kinds of situations, and hopefully it'll make you feel a bit more warm, a bit more encouraged, and you're not relying on anybody, or you've created this yourself. This is part of your therapy tools, and the world's your oyster. You can use it again and again and again, however much you want to use it. So I hope you find that useful. You can always contact me, or if you want to find out more information about some of the resources that I have a lot of free resources on my website, wendycastellina.com. So you can always go down there. I've got lots of meditations there, and I've got some vision boards there. Or just give me any feedback as if you try this sort of thing on your own, or you want some more advice, you could just sort of message me, and I'll do my best to reply. Okay, so it's lovely. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. All the best. Bye.